But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 6. And it came to pass, while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine, whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Ahiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, Wherefore hast thou gone in unto my father's concubine? Then was Abner very wroth for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, Am I a dog's head, which against Judah do shew kindness this day unto the house of Saul thy father, to his brethren and to his friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David, that thou chargest me today with a fault concerning this woman? So do God to Abner, and more also, except as the Lord hath sworn to David, even so I do to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul and to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba. And he could not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, Whose is the land? Saying also, Make thy league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with thee, to bring about all Israel unto thee. And he said, Well, 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 13, be very aware. David says, Well, I will make a league with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that is, thou shalt not see my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Deliver me my wife Michal, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, even from Phatiel, the son of Laish. Stop. I read 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 1, scripture 6 to scripture 15. And I'm going to tell you right now that when you make peace, you make a league with someone. And when you make a league, you make an agreement that both parties are honestly, sincerely, and truly agreeing to the provisions and the clauses in the peace treaty, and it won't be broken. We have so many people today in the church that know scriptures and know how to argue and fight on Facebook and say all this garbage out there and all this foolishness when they don't like something. I try to friend people on Facebook and they despise me and spoke ill against me. That's because you're not a peacemaker. You're a hater of peace. You got people that have arguments in church and they be like, I'm leaving. You're not a peacemaker. You got a husband and a wife and a husband born again. You claim you're born again. And you say, when you have an argument with your spouse, and now you want to divorce them and leave them, you're not a peacemaker. Because you're not qualified to be a peacemaker. It's amazing how people go get a divorce. You go to a lawyer, you go to a judge, you go to somebody who you think is qualified to break that up. But you won't go to a qualified man of Jesus to bring about peace in your home. You got children riling up against their parents. I want to go to the prom. I want a boyfriend. I want to wear makeup. I want to dress naked. And the parent now, what they do, the parent does it. Okay, baby. Okay, baby. I'll let you have your sweet 16 and I'll dance with you as your daddy and sweet 16. Oh, you're appeasing them. See, what happening is you think that you waving that flag of, I'm going to be my child's friend. Nah, that ain't the way you make peace. Some people are like, I just got so many problems in my home. I got so much trouble in my life. I just want some peace. Well, if you do, well, how you going to get it? Well, you know what? I'll just stay home. My spouse want me to stay home from church gathering and don't want me to go to that church no more. I'm going to do what my spouse tell me to do because I got to obey them. That ain't the way you get peace. Those conditions are not right conditions because that person is not an ambassador qualified to make conditions. Them conditions are going to destroy you. David will not make a league with the house of Saul unless David says, one thing I require of thee. So David made requirements. He made a requirement that they had to meet in order for David, listen, in order for David even to meet them, not even to have peace. He clearly says, concerning his face, he said, thou shalt not see my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face. So you got people today, they go to court, they make out complaints, and they do all this stuff, but they don't want, it's like neighbors next door to each other, somebody, they don't want no peace. They don't want no peace. Because if they wanted peace, they'll sit down. You know, it's like today. People, you know, if America go to war with Iran, they want to sit down and make peace, especially if they're a nuclear power. If America go to war with North Korea is striving to be a nuclear power. See, America ain't going to go to war with some nations that got nuclear power. They'll go against a nation that can't really compete with them. But if you got somebody like Russia, they're going to sit down and say, hey, let me send an ambassador and talk to you, Mikhail, and sit down and, Vladimir, and sit down and try to work this thing out. But when you got neighborly disputes, they don't even sit down. Where's the love of the neighborhood? You don't have no love of the neighborhood no more. You got people at odds one with each other. They disrespect each other's property. Now, you can't make no peace like that. You got to set some conditions. You got to say, listen, don't let this happen on my property, and I'm not going to let that happen on your property. And, it's all verbiage. Because, folks don't keep their word today, especially African Americans. They don't keep their word today. So how you going to make peace? See, when David made peace, he gave them a requirement. Now, watch it carefully. 2 Samuel chapter 3. Yeah, you got this world today, they all mixed up. People think, hey, that they got real peace. You ain't got no real peace unless you got an ambassador who is qualified to lay down conditions to bring about peace. 2 Samuel chapter 3. Watch it closely. Pay close attention. Very close attention. Because in scripture 6 through 13, it talked about David talking about, you're not going to see my face. He wants Michal back. He got Michal for 104 skins of the Philistines. 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 20. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. Now watch what David doing to make peace. Pay close attention. He made them a feast. If your enemy's hungry, you're supposed to feed him. Listen, everybody, pay close attention. You cannot make peace with anybody if you can't sit down and have a meal with them. A condition of peace, we should at least be able to sit down and eat together. Scripture 21, 2 Samuel 3:21. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they make a league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over all that thine heart desires. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing the troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. Let the church shout out what 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 22 say at the end. Let the church shout out, he was gone in peace.
He was gone in peace.
Say it again. He was gone in peace.
He was gone in peace.
One more time. Say he was gone in peace.
Gone in peace.
So David sat down with Abner and ate a meal. David, the scripture tells you that David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. David made Abner. That's how you make peace. You sit down and you're going to break some bread together and you're going to talk about it over some food. If you can't do that with another person, that peace is false. He sends Abner away. 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 24. Then Joab came to the king and said, what hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and he is quite gone? Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive thee, and to know thy going out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou doest. You see, Joab is David's nephew. And Joab is in David's army as a captain. And Joab got a problem with Abner. Scripture 26. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah. But David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the 5th rib, that he died for the blood of Asahel, his brother. So, okay. So Abner and Joab met together. You couldn't make peace with Joab. Joab did not do what David did. He didn't sit down and make Abner a feast. He spoke to him a certain way. He did it to him quietly. Hey, Abner, come here. Come here, come over here, Abner. Come. I had a man come to the building one time and say, hey, Bishop Harvey. Hey. He looking around like this. Hey. He look, hey, you know, what? Who? Hey, how you doing? Hi, how you doing? Hi. That person didn't come for peace. It came for war. See, David teaches you something. You're going to sit down and make peace as an ambassador. You got to sit down and make somebody a feast and sit down and talk with them. But what you got people today, people are arguing and fussing and fighting, and then they trying to prove and pointing fingers who wrong, but you ain't got peacemakers in the church. You don't have it. Not in Mercer County, not in the churches that I know of. There ain't no peacemakers in there. You got people that go nowhere. They talking, pastors against each other, bishops against each other. People talking about, let me tell you something. When you going to make peace, you cannot compromise truth. You know, some people say compromise is like a dirty word. You can't compromise truth. Listen, you can do nothing against the truth, but for truth. And the truth shall make you free. When you go and do, listen, Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. And Jesus will never make peace with Satan. So there's some people, you might as well just hang it up. You'll never make peace with them because they don't want to make peace. Joab is a man who's got a vendetta against Abner. Abner did not kill Joab's brother because he wanted to. Joab's brother, Asahel, was not listening when Abner told him basically to back off. So Joab is not just. It was his younger brother's fault that he died. Now when Abner dies by the hand of Joab, 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 28, and afterward when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever from the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house. And let there not fail from the house of Joab one that have an issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on the staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. So Joab and Abishai his brother slew Abner because he had slain their brother Asahel at Gibeon in the battle. Scripture 33. And the king lamented over Abner and said, Abner, the king lamented over Abner and said, died Abner as a fool dieth? Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet put in fetters. As a man falleth before wicked men, so fellest thou. And all the people wept again over him. The scripture tells us in 2 Samuel chapter 3, scripture 37, for all the people in all Israel understood that day that it was not of the king to slay Abner the son of Ner. And the king said unto his servants, know ye not that there is a prince and a great man fallen this day in Israel? And I am this day weak, although anointed king. And these men, particularly the sons of Zeruiah, be too hard for me. The Lord shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. Now, Abner, everybody, listen. If you don't know how to make peace, you can end up like Abner coming across a Joab thinking he coming for peace. Proverbs, the scripture tells us in chapter 22, scripture 24, Proverbs chapter 22 and scripture 24, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. The scripture just told you, you cannot make friendship with an angry man and a furious man. Proverbs chapter 29 and scripture 22. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. So you cannot make peace or friendship with an angry man or a furious man, because angry people, they love to stir up strife, and furious people, they abound in transgression. They don't stop committing sin. They continue in sin. They violate the word of the Lord like it ain't nothing. They disregard it. They're full of pride. They're full of arrogance. They won't submit themselves. The scripture says, honor shall uphold the humble in spirit, but a man's pride shall bring him low, in Proverbs 29 and scripture 23. So why would you want to try to make peace with somebody who's an angry, furious person, stirring up strife and abounding in transgression? You can't do it. Psalms 120. Take heed to it closely. Psalms 120 and scripture 6. My soul have long dwelt with him that hateth peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. You have people today, when you're trying to be a peacemaker, they are for war. 2 Samuel chapter 25. 2 Samuel chapter 25 and scripture 9. 2 Samuel 25, scripture 9. Take heed. The scripture tells us in 2 Samuel chapter 25. This is a man by the name, let me read 2 Samuel 25 and scripture 2 first before I get to scripture 9. 2 Samuel, actually 1 Samuel. Let me give you 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 25, scripture 1. Not 2 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 25, scripture 2. Let me deal with that, because I'm trying to tie this in to show you about an angry man and a furious man. Because a lot of people be like, well, that man preaching like he sound angry. No, listen. An angry man stirred up strife. A furious man abounded in transgression. When Jesus turned over the tables in the temple, people would look at Jesus as being an angry man. That was zeal. The zeal of the Lord of hosts. And the Lord is angry with the wicked every day. We know that. But look, watch this. 1 Samuel chapter 25, scripture 2. There was a man in Maon whose possessions were in Carmel. The man was very great. And he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. And he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and of beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings. and he was of the house of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. David sent out 10 young men. And David said unto the young men, get you up to Carmel. I'm not going to read every word. I'm going to get right to the point. And go to Nabal and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say to him. 1 Samuel chapter 25, scripture 6. Thus shall ye say to him. Now these guys are ambassadors. They're ambassadors. David is sending them. It says, thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity. Peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. And David sent his young men to say peace to Nabal. Scripture 9 of 1 Samuel 25:9. And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal according to all those words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servant and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? So David's men turned their way and went away, and went again, and came and told him all those sayings. David said unto his men, gird ye on every man his sword. They girded on every man his sword. David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. One of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt. Neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them. That means polite, kind, conversating when we were in the fields. They were a wall unto us both by night and day. All the while we were with them keeping the sheep. Now therefore know, this is what this one young man comes to Abigail. In 1 Samuel 25:17. Now therefore know and consider what thou wilt do. For evil is determined against our master and against all his household. For he is such a son of Belial, a son of the devil, that a man cannot speak to him. Okay. So I told you, make no friendship with an angry man, neither with a furious man. Because an angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. You can't make peace with somebody who's angry and furious like Joab, holding a vendetta against Abner because of something that his younger brother did that wasn't Abner's fault. You got people today so unforgiving, so hard-hearted, so vindictive. You know, I had people did things to me, and I'm going to open up and tell you. I've had people that did things to me that I don't do to them. And I'll say it again. I had people that came and interrupted our study at the building, caused an uproar outside the building. Did I go to their house and do that? Nope. I had people that take flyers and threw them all around my house in my neighborhood and defame me. Did I do that to them? Nope. I had people follow me to a car dealership and accost me and do things and intimidate me and get in my face. Did I do that to them? Nope. I had somebody come to the building and slap me. Did I go to them and slap them? Nope. So on those 4 occasions, everybody, I'm going to tell you right now, those individuals, when people do stuff like that, you can't make peace with that person unless you tell them these are the conditions. Because when you take them to court, then the judge going to set some conditions. Amen. I've had people that I took them to mediation. They still ain't meet the conditions. Okay? Still ain't do it. Defame me on Facebook, and then the people in mediation tell you to take it down. Still ain't take it down. And you talking about you godly. No, you're not. You're a hypocrite. And what you sow, you're going to reap it. It's coming back on you. Make sure they hear this. I ain't got to call your name. A certain man, a hypocrite. So you say anybody that know Bishop Harvey is a peaceful man. Even when he preaching and teaching, they talking about, oh, I thought he was saved. He ain't saved yet. I thought he was saved. Yeah, girl. We'll see. See how long your marriage lasts. By the way, the people that offended you, they wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was them. Hold it against them. Don't hold it against me. See, that's what's wrong with people today. You hearing stuff, you believe it. See, the simple believe every word. You believe that foolishness out there that they say about me. You have never come to me and say, Bishop Harvey, let me sit down and make you a feast. You ain't no peacemaker, and you ain't the child of God. I hope y'all hearing this word today. This is a real truth. You ain't no peacemaker. You ain't following. No, you ain't. The reason why you can't do it, you ain't no ambassador. You can't even negotiate. You ain't even 40 years old yet. Trying to say who's right and who's wrong. 2 Samuel chapter 16. Hold up, it might be. Let me consider the scriptures. Yeah, 1 Samuel chapter 16. This will be it. 1 Samuel. Not second, it's first. 1 Samuel chapter 16. No, hold up. Wait a minute. Did I get that right? Let me see. Hold up. Wait, back it up. Let me see. I got a lot here I got to cover. 1 Samuel. All right, so I did 1 Samuel 25. Let me see. 2 Samuel. Yeah, 2 Samuel chapter 16. Let me do that. I told you, you can't make no friendship with no angry man. And you can't make no friendship with no furious man or woman. Furious man and furious woman just can't get, you can't even make no peace if there's no conditions. 2 Samuel chapter 16, scripture 5. 2 Samuel chapter 16, scripture 5. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera. He came forth and cursed still as he came. And he cast stones at David and at all the servants of King David. And all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. The Lord hath turned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned, and the Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man. Then said Abishai the son of Zeruiah unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? I had some sons like that, so-called some guys among me. They was just like these dudes. Just like, I had men among me that was just like Joab and just like Abishai. They want to kill folk. We go on soul winning, they be disrespecting people. And then people be like, well, Bishop Harvey, they under you. They got their own mind. They got their own will. So you're going to say it was the bishop you gave me. Oh, he brainwashed us. Let me tell you about the word brainwash. That's not culturally to the African-American culture. That's to another culture. Stop using that word if you dark-skinned. You're Oreo. Listen carefully. Bishop Harvey ain't brainwashed nobody. You got your own will. When you had that fornication with that woman before you married her, you did that on your own. When you got that female pregnant before you got married, you did that on your own, you mere fornicator. When you had that oral sex, you did it on your own. When you stole that money, you did it on your own. Bishop Harvey ain't do that. When you started that fight in the neighborhood, you did it on your own. Let's correct the record, make it straight. Make the crooked straight. When you came to the church building and started that tumult, you came around the corner like a serpent. You did it on your own. And then you went 5 days after that. So you was brainwashed, huh? You did it on your own. When you made them copies at your wife's job, you did it on your own.